Thank you for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. The federal government says its recent high-level engagements with top United States officials have strengthened Nigeria's security partnership with Washington and opened new avenues for cooperation aimed at protecting citizens. Led by the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Rabadu, the delegation met with senior officials across the U.S. Congress, the State Department, the National Security Council, and other strategic agencies. In a statement issued by Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, during the meeting, the Nigerian team firmly refuted allegations of genocide, stressing that violent attacks affect families across religious and ethnic lines. It warned that mischaracterizing the situation risk deepening divisions and distorting realities on the ground. Following the engagements, the U.S. government affirmed its readiness to deepen cooperation with Nigeria through enhanced intelligence sharing, expedited processing of defense equipment, and possible provision of excess defense articles to support ongoing counter-terrorism operations. Both countries agreed to activate a non-binding cooperation framework and establish a joint working group for coordinated action. In other news, Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak has received the 38 rescued abductees who were kidnapped in Eruku, Ekiti, local government area of Kwara State. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya reports.
Abductees were kidnapped at the Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku, a border community between Kwara and Kogi states, last Tuesday. For 6 days, the victims remained in the kidnappers' den until their release on Sunday through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led efforts. After regaining freedom, the abductees were immediately moved to the government house clinic in Ilorin for urgent medical care. Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, who received the victims, was grateful for the president's quick intervention, pointing out that total victory will be celebrated when other abductees in Kebbi and Niger states are also rescued.
We thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his hands-on approach to bringing them back home. All the agencies coordinated properly in having this done. You can see that within a short period they were out.
It was unimaginable because when we got there, we really know that it was a dominated area.
They are expected to be reunited with their families after thorough medical examinations. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army says it will continue to adopt modern security tactics to sustain the successes in the fight against insurgency in the country. Director General of the Nigerian Army Resource Center, Major General James Miam, gave the assurance while reviewing the achievements of the center 10 years after. We'll bring you more details in the course of the bulletin. The Delta State Police Command has arrested a notorious armed robbery and kidnapping syndicate operating along Asaba-Benin corridor. Acting on a distress call, operatives of the Eagle Net Special Squad and the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Service engaged the criminals in a gun duel before apprehending 3 suspects. Recovered items including 2 pistols, live ammunition, laptops, mobile phones, jewelry, and a PS5 console, all linked to recent robberies in the Okpanam-Asaba axis. The suspects are in custody as investigations continue. In a separate operation, the CP Special Assignment Team dismantled a violent cult cell operating in Sapele and Ogara. Acting on credible intelligence, officers arrested 3 members of the Aye confraternity and recovered a pump-action gun, 6 cartridges, a cutlass, and a Toyota Sienna allegedly used for criminal activities. The command says efforts are ongoing to identify and arrest all the fleeing members of the network. We're not done with security matters. The Defense Intelligence Agency's conference has opened in Abuja with a focus on reviewing evolving security challenges in the country and developing new intelligence operations. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Leveraging innovations in data analytics.
It is the opening of a 5-day conference organized by the Defense Intelligence Agency in Abuja with the theme Multi-Source Intelligence Innovation in Changing National Security Ecosystem. The goal is to review the country's state of security and develop new intelligence-driven operations.
The integration of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data analytics into intelligence work has proven to be a transformative force globally. By harnessing technology to support human expertise, intelligence agencies can identify patterns more accurately, predict behaviors, and uncover threats with greater precision.
Recent rise in security threats continues to mount pressure on authorities. From kidnapping of students to violent attacks on communities, the country grapples with multidimensional security threats.
Intelligence no longer stops at our borders. Our adversaries coordinate internationally. Therefore, Nigeria must maintain strong regional partnership that enhance collective security.
We must continue to strengthen our cooperation with allies and partners in areas such as capacity building, intelligence sharing, and the acquisition of advanced surveillance and analytical tools.
Much as the stakeholders have resolved to develop new methods of confronting the challenges, for those affected by insecurity, relief will only come when there is lasting peace in the country. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA.
And earlier we're joined in the studio by Major General M.A. Masanawa, retired. He's the Director of Land System at Daikon D7G, to discuss the complexities of our nation's security and, of course, explore ways of, moving forward. Here's an excerpt.
You see, interagency cooperation is the most important thing. Early sharing of information, because we have so many or different intelligence sources. We have the DSS, we have the police, we have the military intelligence that is across the tri-service. It's a matter of early information or sharing of intelligence and also immediate action. This thing should start from the local level, complete reorientation of our people to understand that security is actually everybody's business. In the past, there's always this, when you see something, say something.
Yeah.
It's very important. That must continue. When you see something, say something.
So, security is everybody's business. And in Borno State, we hear the Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, has continued to partner with security forces in an effort to end Boko Haram insurgency and other criminal activities in the state and the entire northeast region. He has also introduced several measures at the state level aimed at restoring peace and stability. Mohammed Goni walks us through the governor's recent initiatives, particularly as the state responds to the latest rise in violent attacks across some communities.
Since assuming office in 2019, Governor Zulum has made restoration of peace and resettlement of displaced communities a top priority of his administration. To achieve these goals, his government has maintained strong collaboration with security forces, including the military, police, paramilitary agencies and volunteer groups. These include regular visits to troops on the front line and the provision of logistics such as operational vehicles and other essential support.
These vehicles and houses are our collective determination to support our security personnel with necessary resources to effectively carry out the crucial mission.
With the recent rise in attacks on military formations and vulnerable communities, Governor Zulum has renewed efforts to strengthen the resilience of both security operatives and residents. He personally engages with affected families, spending time in the communities to rebuild confidence and reassure them of government's commitment to protecting lives and property. Beyond supporting the military and other security agencies, Governor Zulum promotes community policing through ongoing support to the Civilian Joint Task Force, hunters and vigilante groups who work alongside security forces in the theater of operations. In addition to frontline visits, the governor holds a routine security meeting with service chiefs and traditional rulers. He also engages with top military leadership at the national level.
Thorough military operation that involved the naval, the air force and ground troops, purposely intended to rid off the Tumbus has never been done. We need a coordinated attempt.
Today, many former insurgents have not only renounced their activities, but are also supporting volunteer forces in the fight to free the state from terrorism. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
The right step in the right direction, right? So let's join Mohammed Goni again, this time around live. Mohammed Goni, please fill us in, going by efforts by the state governor to ensure that there is peace in the state.
Thank you very much. Like we've just watched in the report, Borno State government's effort towards the restoration of total peace and seen from two perspectives, from the kinetic perspective and non-kinetic perspective. Kinetic perspective refers to the ongoing military operation in the northeast. We've just watched that the governor busies troops on the front line, give them support to boost their morale, and at the same time rub minds with them with a view to knowing the challenges confronting them, and at the same time identify where the Borno State government can come in. This also translates to the massive support from the Borno State government in terms of operational vehicles, houses to the police, and what have you. We have also said that the governor engages in routine security meeting with head of security chiefs in the state, and at the same time traditional rulers, with a view to assessing or reviewing the security situation in the state, and at the same time take informed decisions on the way forward. Not only that, the governor also meets the service chiefs at the headquarters, at the national level, as chief security officer of his state, to kind of give, what inputs that may be necessary in the prosecution of the ongoing, war in the northeast. But at the same time, the governor is conscious of the fact that wars such as this cannot just be powered on with the barrel of gun only. That is why he also opted to use what the military refer to as non-kinetic measures. That involves ongoing resettlement of communities that were displaced by the insurgents, because the insurgents use those communities as their hideouts to perpetrate atrocities. And because of this, the Borno State government considers it necessary to resettle communities. Not only are these communities resettled, but at the same time, the governor provides livelihoods to the returnees, because once the livelihoods are provided to them, the insurgents cannot conscript or cannot recruit them, because they are engaged, they have their means of livelihood. Another thing that is of importance is the building resilience of the communities. The governor and the Borno State officials are always reminding the returnees that government can no longer keep them in IDP's camp, and that the donors that are coming in are leaving because donors' fatigue has set in. Nobody can keep them in the camp and continue to feed them. So it is necessary for them to remain in their communities, till their lands, and at the same time feed themselves. It's better than going back to the camps. After all, the camps are now full of social vices, prostitution, gangsterism, and what have you. So these are some of the reasons why they are encouraged to remain in their camps.
Indeed, Mohammed Goni, you've captured it all, and resettlement of these people is very key, especially when we have to build resilient communities to stand tall. Thank you, Mohammed. So we'll take a break at this point. We'll be back. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. Nigeria must invest in technology and early warning emergence systems to tackle emerging security challenges. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Senate President Godswill Akpabio stated this while unveiling the 2025 to 2030 Security Strategic Plan at the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Office of the National Security Advisor.
Nigeria's fight against terrorism is not just a domestic struggle, it is a continental responsibility.
Amen.
The launch of the National Counter-Terrorism Center's 2025-2030 strategic plan, officials emphasized the urgency of a coordinated regional response. The strategic plan charts a 5-year roadmap to transform the NCTC into a regional center of excellence. It outlines new intelligence-driven era, from drone surveillance and regional operational centers to advanced training institutions and simulation facilities for crisis response.
The strategic plan emerges at both a roadmap and a national commitment, building on gains of the National Counterterrorism Strategy, aligning with the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2022, and reaffirming our vision of a secure, resilient, and stable Nigeria.
The Senate President Godswill Akpabio affirms Nigeria's resilience remains firm even as terrorists evolve in tactics and technology.
With this strategic plan, we declare to the forces that threaten our peace that Nigeria will not yield, West Africa will not yield. We stand together with the unwavering conviction that this land shall be secured.
The National Counter-Terrorism Center says it is deepening partnership with security agencies, civil society, and the private sector to build a modern coordinated counter-terrorism network. The 2025-2030 strategic plan reflects the center's commitment to address national and regional security threats. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Proceedings we hear resumed at the FCT High Court in the 5.5 billion naira defamation suit filed by two DSS operatives against SERAP, where the organization's witness Kolawole Oluwadare admitted that publications alleging an unlawful invasion of SERAP's office were based solely on information from a front desk officer. Oluwadare confirmed that during the DSS officer's visit on September 9, 2024, no staff was assaulted, no property damaged, and no forceful entry recorded, though he issued statements suggesting otherwise. The claimants, Sarah John and Gabriel Ogundele, insist the visit was a routine, friendly engagement with civil society organizations to introduce the service's new leadership. They argue that SERAP's publications falsely portray them as conducting an unauthorized operation, leading to public criticism and reputational damage both locally and internationally. They are seeking an apology, 5 billion naira in damages and additional cost. Justice Halilu Yusuf adjourned the matter to February 19, 2026 for adoption of final written addresses after the witness formally adopted his statements on oath. Nigeria's push to complete its long-delayed National Library project received a major boost as the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, paid an official visit to the Qatar National Library while attending the WISE Education Summit. The minister disclosed that significant progress has been recorded in recent months following a fundraising campaign launched by the First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, which has garnered over 25 billion naira from individuals, corporate bodies and stakeholders. Additional financing approved by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has also enabled contractors and consultants to return to site, marking a critical step towards completing the landmark facility. During the visit, Dr. Alausa described the Qatar National Library as a global model of innovation, digital excellence, and heritage preservation, a standard Nigeria hopes to mirror. He announced that a memorandum of understanding with the Qatar National Library is being finalized to support technical collaboration, capacity building, digital services, and architectural modernization. The federal government's decision to temporarily hold academic activities in 41 unity schools due to insecurity has attracted the attention of some stakeholders at the 2025 Barewa College annual lecture held in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports that they identify poverty, unemployment, and ignorance as what is driving many to indulge in criminality, undermining federal government's sustained efforts in secondary education.
It is on record that Barewa College has produced 5 heads of Nigerian government and 29 state governors amongst other top leadership positions across the country. In keeping the leadership spirit alive, old boys of the college have converged on Abuja to share ideas on more innovative ways to sustain the legacy of basic standard education across the country without hindrance.
We have troops, we have soldiers, we have police, we have others. What do you do with them? You have to prepare them in such a way that they will be able to handle the situation. And those are the things I think we should now pay attention to.
I have a feeling that there shouldn't be a panic. What we need to do is not to hurry up closing down schools, but to hurry up fortifying them against the kind of invasion that we have witnessed. And we hope that the government will succeed in overcoming the unfortunate situation.
The common thing that connects everybody is still the same. And the experiences you build and share with your fellow countrymen is what helps you to build the nation. Even the European countries went through that.
Children's education are being cut like this. We feel education will not be the best out of it. And we pray this will stop. And all of us must push hands together to ensure that this insecurity is brought and stopped.
I am from Kogi State. I schooled in Zaria. My best friend is from Daura. I would never have met him if I didn't go to that school.
There was a lecture on leadership and legacies shaping the future through influence and impact. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
All right, we'll take a pause from this and we get to Sokoto now to join Sadia. Hello, Sadia.
Thanks for joining us. Sokoto State Government has unveiled plans to install a 4.2 megawatt solar-powered system at the State Water Board to boost electricity supply and address the persistent water scarcity in the state capital. This development came to the fore during an inspection visit to the project site by officials of the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum Resources, who reaffirmed the government's commitment to sustainable energy solutions. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu reports.
The installation of the 4.2 megawatt solar-powered energy system at the State Water Board is a strategic shift from non-renewable to renewable energy sources in line with global best practices. Once completed, the project is expected to deliver stable and eco-friendly power source capable of enabling the water board facilities to operate at full capacity.
So far, we have seen the site has already been set up and some equipment has started arriving, and very soon the issue of water supply in Sokoto State will be a thing of the past.
The persistent shortage of water for years, Sokoto State citizens have suffered. He has gladly offered this project.
Also inspected were other ongoing energy projects, including the major national grid reconnection for Eastern Sokoto, an area that had been without electricity for years, crippling its socio-economic activities. Gwadabawa is the latest local government area to have its power restored, reflecting the administration's commitment to reconnect all affected communities. The multi-million naira state independent power project is in its final touches. Ensuring a reliable and sustainable power supply remains central to the government's agenda on economic growth and human capital development. In Sokoto, Abdullahi Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
Tree planting campaigns and stricter enforcement of environment laws are among the key measures deployed to combat the twin threats of desertification and desert encroachment across Sokoto State. These interventions were necessitated by the state's strategic position, sharing an international border with Niger Republic that has been experiencing severe ecological challenges. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
Sokoto is one of the states in Nigeria prone to desertification, with between 50 and 75% of its land currently under pressure. Studies indicate that desert encroachment in the state is advancing inland at an alarming rate of 0.4 kilometers each year. The shifting sands continue to expose communities to harsher temperatures, declining agricultural yield, drying water sources, and shrinking grazing areas. A combination of human and natural factors such as deforestation, overgrazing, and poor land management, compounded by climatic conditions that include increasing aridity and erratic rainfall patterns, contribute significantly to the menace.
People are cutting down trees for charcoal production. We have now started sitting
we are going to take measures, serious action to make sure that this cutting down of trees is now come to an end.
To safeguard the environment, the government has banned indiscriminate cutting of trees without approval, and for those granted permission, they are required to plant replacements. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
And those are the news update from here. It's now back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Sadia. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has declared that he is returning as a strong and credible opposition to the governing All Progressives Congress with a view to salvage Nigeria and to restore hope to its citizens. Atiku disclosed this during his membership registration with the African Democratic Congress in Jeddah local government area of Adamawa State, his hometown. The registration officially confirms Atiku as a card-carrying member of the ADC, bringing an end to speculations and controversy surrounding his political affiliation. As the world continues to navigate the complexities of the digital age, it is crucial to develop and implement strategies that will leverage digital media's strength while mitigating its weakness in conflict resolution scenarios. Well, this was the message of the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, to the National Symposium on Digital Innovations in Crisis Communication. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports.
Emerging technologies can transform crisis communication in Nigeria by enabling faster, wider and more targeted information dissemination through platforms like social media, AI and drones. But what happens when they are weaponized to cause chaos instead of being a veritable tool? That is what the National Symposium on Digital Innovations in Crisis Communication is set to address.
Technology is both an opportunity and also a challenge. And countries like Nigeria are not just leaving the space tabula rasa. Countries are owning it and they are trying to ensure that it is used for public good.
In times of uncertainties, crisis communication serves as the nation's compass, offering direction, calming anxiety, and countering misinformation.
Therefore, we need to work as a society on how we can use it as a tool to be ahead of these bad actors.
Nigeria has developed code of conduct to checkmate activities in the global space, account deactivation method, content removal process, content reinstatement mechanism, and the proposed online harm protection bill to identify, flag and remove harmful and inciting informations. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has officially kicked off the 2025 edition of the Global 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, reaffirming Nigeria's strong commitment to ending violence against women and girls. Amina Baba Suleiman reports that the event signals the formal commencement of this annual campaign, which runs from November 25 to December 10. NAPTIP's Director General, Binta Adamu Bello, says the campaign symbolizes the urgency and collective responsibility to combat gender-based violence and, of course, to raise awareness and advocate for policy change.
Combating trafficking to include a broader spectrum of violence against persons. Through proactive awareness campaign, rehabilitation programs and enforcement of laws, we are committed to protecting victims, bringing perpetrators to justice.
We are looking at the intervention as a co-gender approach and one which, when we are able to impact the girl child,
ICMPD remains a dedicated partner to Nigeria in its efforts to reinforce migration governance through our ongoing work with NAPTIP and other government institutions.
IOM has supported and has worked closely with the government of Nigeria and partners in addressing trafficking.
She urges community members to be extra vigilant and be proactive in reporting abuses, supporting victims and condemning acts of violence. She also called for civil societies and the media to push for more biting issues around sexual gender-based violence. Now, this year's campaign theme is Ending Digital Violence Against All Women and Girls. The issue of high cost of house rent in Bayelsa State has continued to pose serious concern, or challenge if you like, to residents of the state. The situation, our correspondent Timipre Ohia says, it has attracted the State House of Assembly. Let's see that.
The wave of increase in house rent has continued to take a toll on residents of Yenagoa and other major towns in Bayelsa State. A survey of the current house rent in Yenagoa, the state capital, shows that a self-contained room that was before now given out between 250,000 naira and 300,000 naira is now 400 and 500,000 naira annually. One-bedroom apartment, which was between 400,000 naira and 500,000 naira, is now 700 and 800,000 naira. While two-bedroom apartment, which was between 800,000 naira annually, has now skyrocketed to 1,900,000 naira annually. Investigation reveals that for many residents, especially civil servants, the situation has become unbearable, as the residents say the rent keeps skyrocketing beyond salaries and other low-income earners.
As a state government to embark on massive housing units so that civil servants, middle class can afford.
State, federal government, even local government can build houses for people because the cost of housing is becoming too enormous.
This situation, which has very recently prompted the State House of Assembly to take a closer look at the need for rent regulation and housing affordability.
And I know that the government has already started doing something about low-cost housing in Bayelsa. And we will not relent in our oasis. We will continue to do the needful.
What we're recommending is for them to actually for government to set up, for the executive to set up a committee that can actually look into the details and come up with, definitive rules that will guide the tenants and landlords going forward.
As the debate on rent control gains momentum, many Bayelsa State residents are hopeful that the state government will take visible steps to make accommodation more affordable and accessible to all. Timinopri, Ohia.
So we're joined Timinipre again to look at the issue on regulating house rent in Bayelsa State. So Timi, I'm sure residents are excited following this involvement of the State House of Assembly. So fill us in on what are your findings.
Involvement of the State House of Assembly is indeed a crucial step towards addressing the rising cost of rent across the states. With proper legislative action, the Assembly can introduce and enforce regulations that protect arbitrary rent increases, protect tenant rights, and ensure fairness between landlords and tenants. Beyond legislation, collaboration with stakeholders, including landowners, developers, and relevant government agencies, will be key in implementing effective rent control measures. The Assembly can also push for more affordable housing projects and policies that support low and middle income earners. If the steps are followed sincerely, we could see a more balanced and sustainable housing system that reduces the burden on residents. It's over to you.
And of course, housing, shelter, if you like, is a basic need of mankind. Let's get to Maiduguri. Abubakar is standing by. Abubakar, what do you have from your end?
So much more, actually, Ruth. Thank you for joining us. A delegation of 5 European ambassadors has visited Borno State on a working mission aimed at assessing ongoing humanitarian initiatives and progress in resettlement efforts. Commissioner for Education, Science, Technology and Innovation, Lawan Abo Kilby, led the delegation to Banki, Bama local government area for the mission. Here is Pauline Kujivana with the rest of the story.
Accompanied by the UNHCR head of office in Nigeria, Arjun Jain, the delegation in Borno State was received by Governor Babagana Umar Zulum at the Government House, Maiduguri, and directed the Commissioner for Education, Science, Technology and Innovation, Lawan Abawa Kilbe, who doubled as the chairman of Bama Reconstruction and Resettlement Committee, to coordinate and support the mission throughout their stay. The ambassadors began their field visit in Banki, Bama local government area, where they inspected multiple UNHCR-supported projects. These included 452-bedroom rural homes built for returnees from the Minawawa refugee camp in Mokolo, far north Cameroon, a vocational training center operated by the state government, and the Borno State Government UNHCR irrigation scheme in Termoa. The delegation also crossed into Amchide, Cameroon, where they met with security personnel, humanitarian actors, local officials, and refugee returnees from both sides of the border. Back in Maiduguri, the team visited El Meskin camp, newly constructed mega schools, and several government and privately managed orphanages, among other key facilities.
More than 100,000 of our people went to Cameroon. UNHCR took them to a camp with the government of Cameroon, and they stayed there for over a decade. So after the successful execution of the regional stabilization facility, rebuilding most of these structures you have seen, return started.
We as the UK will continue with our efforts to help build the resilience in these communities and build the strength in these communities and hope for these communities.
The visit highlighted the continued commitment of Borno State and its international partners to supporting vulnerable populations and advancing sustainable resettlement across the region. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Away from Banki in Bama local government area of Borno State, to tell you that the Maiduguri command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is strengthening its fight against financial crimes by bringing journalists and civil society organizations closer to the front line. In a one-day capacity-building workshop, the commission opened its doors to partners aiming to deepen understanding of emerging threats, especially cryptocurrency-related fraud, and to build a united front in advancing its mandate. Umar Jimbarima completes the story.
The one-day capacity-building workshop for journalists and civil society organizations focuses on cryptocurrency fraud, emerging financial crimes, and prosecuting such offenses. Presentations were delivered by senior EFCC officials, including DSE Muawiyah Abdul Karim, CSE Mukhtar Ali Ahmad, ASE Aliu Abdul Malik, ASE Saka Olainka, and DCE Dele Oyewole on strategic approaches and future directions. The Zonal Director, Maiduguri Command, Aisha Eti Habib, highlighted the Commission's achievements and noted that strengthened collaboration with journalists and CSOs would enhance its efforts to combat corruption and other related offenses.
The issue of fighting corruption cannot be exclusively left to the FCC. We need community engagement. And we cannot directly, in some cases, go to the community. You are the mirror. You are the media and the CSO are the ones that actually have direct access to them.
The media, civil society organizations, and everyone that is a Nigerian that is patriotic enough, we must all come on board to fight corruption.
A joint discussion session was held with participants expressing confidence that collective efforts could lead to the eradication of corruption and related offenses in Borno State and across Nigeria. In Maiduguri, Omar Jimbarima, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. Ruth in Abuja will bring us another set of reports, but that will be right after this break.
Thank you for staying tuned. In Jigawa State, Governor Umar Namadi has rounded off a 9-month citizens' engagement tour with a strong message of service, accountability and development. The program, launched in February, reached all 27 local government areas. Mohammed Musa's Kira reports.
The Jigawa State Government's Citizens Engagement Initiative, which began on the 9th of February, has formally come to a close in Yankwashi local government area, the 27th and final stop in the statewide program. At the grand finale, Governor Umar Namadi inaugurated a 13.5-kilometer Magina to Fuji feeder road project awarded at the cost of 1.69 billion naira. Also commissioned was a fully equipped primary healthcare facility designed to enhance access to quality medical services for rural residents. The governor received and accompanied by large enthusiastic crowds, addressed the final engagement meeting with the people of Yankwashi, highlighting the achievements recorded by his administration over the past 2 years, emphasizing that the Citizens Engagement Tour has helped reshape the perception of governance as a true service to the people. He expressed appreciation to all stakeholders whose contributions ensured the success of the 9-month exercise.
People had the opportunity to express themselves to the government, what the government is doing to them, their own perception of the government. We have seen that people have come out in mass to tell us where we are wrong, to tell us where we are right. And we are happy that we have seen this from our people. And we are able also to accept, to collect from them what they expect government to do to them, either at the state or at the federal level.
And rounded off with a special prayers for the security and peace of Niger, Kebbi, Zamfara and Borno states and the entire country in duty. Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
All right, at this point we head to Lagos to join Hengino. Hengino, how are you doing?
Thank you, Ruth, and welcome to Lagos. Nigeria's auto industry is under the spotlight as stakeholders examine its role in climate change and clean transportation. At a gathering in Lagos, stakeholders pledged to support reduced vehicle emissions and transition to greener transportation. NTA Deputy Director News Jennifer Igwe was honored for consistency in environmental awareness. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports.
Road transport remains a major driver of Nigeria's greenhouse gas emissions, placing the auto industry at the center of the country's climate challenge. With most Nigerians relying on road travel, pollution from vehicles continues to affect air quality and accelerate warming. Nigeria is pushing cleaner mobility through CNG and early electric vehicle initiatives, but auto dealers say the industry must also step up by supporting cleaner options and offering platforms and incentives for auto dealers to explore opportunities in cleaner transport.
It is the reality of the new economy that we're going to go more electric, more hybrid systems, more CNGs, more. Even there's something China wants to develop, hydro. So that's where the future is.
This is also another area of business opportunity that some people might also consider venturing into. Because whether you like it or not, it has come to stay. Dealers also are gradually shifting into that the business, seeing the future advantages.
The auto professionals also emphasize the need for more awareness on opportunities and benefits of greener vehicles. Distinguished personalities and accomplished media figures were honored at the event, including the Deputy Director of News at the NTA Lagos Network Center, Jennifer Igwe, who was recognized as Media Personality of the Year for her consistency in environmental awareness. Veteran broadcaster and radio presenter Jimmy Disu received a Lifetime Achievement Award.
The NTA flagship program, Environment Matters, we have created awareness on renewable energy sources, greener transportation, and a sustainable future. So for this organization to honor what I have done in environmental journalism and to acknowledge the important role of NTA in creating awareness on environmental issues is laudable.
For many in the sector, this renewed sense of responsibility is more than industry reform. It is a vital step toward protecting the environment and securing a healthier future for all Nigerians. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
That's it from here. It's now back to Ruth in Abuja for the continuation of the news.
Many thanks, Hingino. Nigerian youth are calling for direction and empowerment, and Jami Pajo International is answering with a call to action. The organization's upcoming 2026 Youth Convention is set to equip young Nigerians with the skills, vision and courage to drive change in their communities and beyond. Speaking at a press conference, representatives of Jami Pajol International emphasized that the convention is more than just an event, but a movement aimed at developing leaders who will be the backbone of change in the country.
Build on the premise of service. Sometimes it saddens my heart that most of our young people today don't understand the importance of service. Everybody wants to blow, they want to arrive, but they don't understand that the pathway to greatness is service.
And we are on a mission to build a generation of young Africans who are ready to lead in business, in governance, and they are also ready and able to lead in their various communities.
It is about preparing young people to think differently, to lead courageously, and to build a future they are proud of.
Every year, our youth convention challenges us to raise the bar. And in 2026, this will be no different.
Big vision, bold steps. The convention promises to focus on vision, discipline, character, leadership and bold actions that will shape the future of Nigerian youths. Let's do a sports update. That's next.
Nigeria made history by becoming the first African country to participate in the two-woman bobsleigh event at the International Bobsleigh and Skeleton Federation World Cup. This historic moment occurred when Nigeria's talented pair, Simidele Ediagbo and Kewe King, competed on the ice in Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy, showcasing an inspiring performance on one of the sport's most difficult tracks. The duo were ranked in 25th place with 40 points in the event that was won by gymnast Olympic and world champion Laura Notte on her 27th birthday. Meanwhile, Nigeria has officially named a 12-man squad for the first window of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup Africa qualifiers, with the Tigers set to open their campaign against host Tunisia on Thursday in Tunis. Coach Abdurrahman Mohamed confirmed the roster ahead of the team's departure. Elsewhere, the Nigeria Customs Service defeated the Ghana Air Force 3-0 to emerge champions of this 2025 Super Volleyball Championship in the women's category. And finally, in tennis, Italy captured a remarkable third consecutive Davis Cup title, with Matteo Berrettini and Flavio Cobolli winning their singles matches for a 2-0 triumph over Spain in the best-of-3 tie in Bologna. With sports updates, Omoyemi Unubo, NTA News.
We're done with Nationwide. Thank you for your company. Do have a lovely evening. I'm Ruth Aguilera.